We are out and about today helping another family move to the great state of Texas. If you guys haven't heard, there is a ton of exodus in a lot of different states, and they are moving to Texas. Not just Texas, they're kind of moving all over the country. Right now, in the world that we live in, you have the freedom. A lot of people have moved towards having the freedom of being able to work from home and being able to pick up their lives that they've built in that same city or that same state for decades and move to a completely different state. So today I'm actually spending the entire day driving around the Metroplex with a family that currently lives in California. They're going to be relocating to the North Fort Worth area, and we're showing them properties that have a little bit of acreage. Not technically multiple acres, but something that's a little bit larger of a lot than your standard new home community that you're at, a fifth of an acre or maybe max a quarter of an acre. All of the homes that we're taking a look at today have a minimum half acre up to a couple of acres, and giving them an idea of just what homes around the DFW Metroplex are like. So one of the great things about the state of Texas, and personally not being from the state of Texas, I could ramble off forever about why I love Texas. But one of the biggest things about Texas is the fact that we do not have any state income tax. So a lot of families that do relocate to the state of Texas, they're able to save a considerable amount of money just off the top by not having to pay any state income tax. Now we do have higher than, I guess, traditional property taxes are in other states. So in some sense, it could potentially even out. But for the most part, people that do relocate here, as long as you're not taking a substantial hit on your salary or your pay when you do move here, are gonna likely wind up with lower cost of living, just cheaper all the way around when it comes to, daily expenses, as well as just housing in general here. You can get a house on an acre lot, new construction, for under $800,000 versus where they are in California. They're sitting on 0.17 of an acre and their house is 30 years old. So we've already looked at one house, and a lot of what we're doing today is not necessarily trying to find a house to put an offer in on, but more or less just showing them the Metroplex and showing them that, unfortunately, I'm low on gas, but showing them really the opportunity that we have here as far as housing when it comes to Texas, and seeing if it's going to be a good fit. Because at the end of the day, if it's not a good fit for them, they're likely going to stay in California. But based off of their reaction from the first house, I think it's going to be a good day. All right, we are headed to our last stop. Not a full day. I think we're gonna wind up spending about 4 or 5 hours taking a look at different homes. The last place we just went to was actually a new build community. Now, the nice thing with their budget here is I'm actually showing them homes between $600,000 to $800,000. The last place we went was brand new construction, half acre lots in North Fort Worth for a little bit more than that, but I'm going to really allow them to make that decision at the end of the day. Hey, do I want a home that's 20 to 30 years old and needs some work done, or do I want to up my budget a little bit to see if I can have it make sense to increase that budget to get truly everything that they want. All right, well guys, that is a wrap. We are all finished showing my out-of-state clients houses for the day. Honestly, this is a very early precursor kind of visit for them. They wanted to kind of treat it as also a vacation down to Texas. Seemed a little bit real at the end though, as they were analyzing some of the houses and some of the options that they wanted to go with. It wasn't an opportunity really where we were going out to see a property with the intention to pursue an offer or actually pursue a physical house. More or less what I was trying to do was give them kind of a quick rundown of areas that they were looking at. So they were really looking at just a large blanket area, meaning just all of the north side of Fort Worth, including also the Louisville area. So we drove through 4 different school districts, obviously with 3 kids that they have. School districts are one of their top priorities. Moving forward, I know this trip out to Texas is certainly going to help them. They're kind of leaning towards the new construction option, and I'll give you the reason why here. So we looked at houses kind of starting in the low 600s, ranging all the way up to the last house being 800,000. Now, most of those homes were in their desired school district, but they were pre-owned homes, meaning homes that obviously are not going to be on the market when it comes to them physically moving here. So it's not something that they would fall in love with and put in an offer today on. They still haven't figured out all of the logistics when it comes to moving out of California. But on the new construction side of things, they actually are going to be able to potentially secure a lot, choose all of the finishings, choose the elevation meaning the front kind of facade of the house, and really anything and everything they want within the house. And the most expensive house we were looking at today was 800,000, but the new construction home opportunities were 850 to 950. So only a little bit more. They'd be getting a brand new home with a 1-2-10 warranty. A 1-2-10 warranty is a 1-year cosmetic, 2-year behind the walls. We're talking plumbing and electrical, and a 10-year structural warranty to go along with the purchase of their new construction home. And again, the biggest thing here is they're going to be able to design the home from start to finish. Now, obviously, picking up their entire life and moving from one state to another is a huge life decision, but I can tell you guys, and a lot of you that actually watch my YouTube channel, this is happening all across the country. And it's not just happening California to Texas, it's not just happening from New York to Florida. So many people and their families are picking up their livelihood where they have really been for decades, are deciding to pick up their entire life and move to an area that suits them better. Now, I know I've told my story time and time again, but I am not from Texas. I've lived in the Dallas area for a little over 5 years and Texas for about 7, but I moved here initially for graduate school. And I can tell you, I moved here with the intent to move here permanently because it was better suited for me. And now the thing is, people and families more so, because again, me moving personally was a pretty easy venture. I think I stacked an entire Toyota Camry full of my junk and drove all the way down to Texas, and that was it. Now, when you're talking about a family that obviously has much deeper roots in another state and has 3 kids, it's a whole lot more difficult to be able to pick all that up and relocate to a completely different state. At the end of the day, guys, a lot of people, as I mentioned before, are moving to Texas. And it's not just Texas though, but I'm seeing it firsthand in my local market in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And I've got agents across the state that are seeing people move in flocks to Austin, to Houston, to San Antonio, where I used to live. And obviously in my market, in the last 2 years, almost 2 years now, I've helped well over 20 families relocate here. It's because at the end of the day, people have options now. With options come big decisions, and big decisions at the end of the day are going to impact you and potentially your family if you have one. So make sure when you're making a choice, whether it be to move to Texas, move out of California, move into another state, that it's going to be the best and right decision for you. Thanks again for watching, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. It really does help, and stay tuned for the next video.